Welcome to Breakup, Cheater, where real stories come to life. Here we dive deep into the raw emotions behind betrayal, heartbreak, and survival. If you crave honest, powerful tales that pull at your heartstrings and keep you on the edge, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because every story here is one you won't forget. The night she walked out changed everything. No warning, no goodbye. Just silence and shattered promises. For over 2 decades, I raised our kids alone, carrying the weight of betrayal and heartbreak. But what happens when the past comes knocking back on your door after 21 years? Today, I'm sharing a story about loss, survival, and the strength it takes to move on when someone you loved chooses to leave it all behind. The night Clara walked out is burned into my memory like a scar that never heals. It was raining hard. An almost cliché backdrop for heartbreak, but that night the storm outside mirrored the one inside me. She didn't even wait for the kids to fall asleep. I found her standing in the living room, suitcase in hand, her eyes distant and hollow. Our youngest, Liam, clung to her legs, sobbing, "Mommy, where are you going?" But she didn't comfort him. Instead, she looked right at me and said, cold and unwavering, "I can't live this lie anymore. I need to find my own truth." Her truth was a man named Nathan, someone she met at her Pilates class. That night, without a single glance backward, she left. No hugs, no goodbyes, no apologies. Just the sound of the front door shutting behind her, and the heavy silence that followed. I stood frozen, grasping the shattered pieces of what was once our family. I had to pull myself together quickly. 3 kids, no warning, no mother. Just me and the cruel reality that the woman I loved had chosen someone else over us. The first year was pure hell. Emma, our oldest, barely spoke for months. Lucas, just 9 at the time, started getting into fights at school, angry and confused. Little Liam cried himself to sleep so many nights I lost count. And me. I worked 2 jobs, packed lunches, braided hair, helped with homework, hid tears in the shower, and forced a smile every single day. People whispered behind my back. Some blamed me, others took her side, but no one saw the struggle behind my eyes. No one knew how hard I fought to keep our home standing while the woman who was supposed to be my partner was living a different life. And she never reached out. No calls, no birthday cards, no texts, not even a cent for child support. It was like she vanished into thin air, like we were a chapter she refused to read again. But I refused to let her absence define us. I raised our kids with love, discipline, and honesty. I never told them to hate her, but I didn't sugarcoat the truth either. They knew their mother had chosen her own path, one that didn't include them. Still, they grew into remarkable people. Emma became a compassionate nurse. Lucas opened a thriving auto repair shop, and Liam, gentle and determined, joined the army. I was proud. No, more than proud. I was in awe of what we had built without her. So, when 21 years later I opened the door and saw Clara standing there again, her hair streaked with gray, her eyes tired, suitcase in hand just like before, my first reaction wasn't anger. It was confusion. "Why now?" I asked coldly. She didn't answer at first. She just stared as if I was the one who had disappeared all those years ago. Finally, her voice broke. "I made a mistake," she whispered. The kind of sorrow I used to beg for back when I spent nights crying alone, desperate for closure, for answers. "But now," her voice faltered, "now I feel nothing but an empty stillness. Nathan died 3 months ago." Her hands trembled. "I've been alone ever since. I thought maybe we could talk." She looked past me, expecting to be welcomed back, as if time hadn't swallowed 2 decades whole. I didn't move. I didn't open the door wider. I just looked at the lines etched on her face, the shadows beneath her eyes, and thought of every scraped knee, every birthday party, every milestone she missed. Emma was the first to hear about her return. Furious, not sad or curious, just furious. "She doesn't get to come back after 21 years and pretend she still matters," Emma spat over the phone. Lucas didn't say much, just a low, bitter sound. "She's got nerve. I'll give her that." Liam, ever the peacemaker, quietly asked, "Are you okay, Dad?" None of them wanted to see her. None of them asked where she'd been or how she was. They'd built their lives without her, and so had I. And now she was here, acting like the past owed her a second chance. "I want to know them again," she said, standing in my yard as if she hadn't detonated a bomb in our lives 2 decades ago. "I want to make amends." I laughed. Not out of humor but because the audacity was staggering. "You don't get to want things now," I said. "You gave up that right." Still, I wasn't the man to slam the door in someone's face. I invited her to sit on the porch, made tea, and listened. She talked about how her life with Nathan fell apart, how the freedom she chased became a cage, how he never wanted kids, how she missed ours terribly, and how regret haunted her nights. But none of it changed the truth. I looked her in the eyes and said, "They're not your kids anymore." And I meant it. She walked out on them. Now, she wanted to walk back in because her new life had crumbled. The days that followed were strange, quiet, but not in a comforting way. More like the silence after a storm when the world looks untouched. But something inside has shifted. Emma texted me. "She better stay far away from me and my family." Lucas didn't bother pretending to be civil. "Tell her if she wants a reunion, she should start digging through the ashes she left behind." And Liam, the only one who still called me every Sunday like clockwork, said softly, "You did everything, Dad. You were both Mom and Dad. She doesn't deserve a place in our story anymore." He was right. I thought of every school event I attended alone, every night I sat beside Emma's bed while she mourned a mother she barely remembered, the year Lucas stopped talking to anyone, and the nights I lay awake hoping she'd regret her choice. Now I knew she did. But regret isn't a key, it doesn't open doors. It only reminds you of the ones you slammed shut. One afternoon, she left a letter on the porch. No knocking, no conversation, just an envelope tucked beneath the doormat like a fragile offering. Inside was a photo of us, taken years ago before the betrayal, before the heartbreak. On the back she'd written, "I'm sorry for everything. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I just wanted to say goodbye properly this time." That night, I stared at the photo for hours. Not because I missed her, but because I didn't. The woman I married died the day she chose someone else over the life we built. The woman who showed up at my door weeks ago was a stranger. And I owed that stranger nothing. Not my time, not my kids, not my heart. A month later, Liam and I stood outside grilling steaks in the backyard. The grandchildren ran through the sprinkler, their laughter filling the warm air. Emma and her husband were on their way over. Lucas had texted earlier, "Don't start the beer without me." And in that moment, surrounded by the family I raised, the family she left, I felt something I hadn't in years. Quiet peace. Not the calm after the storm, but the peace of knowing I had survived it. I had carried the weight of her betrayal for years. But now I had finally set it down. She may have walked away all those years ago, but I walked forward, and I never looked back. Life doesn't always give us the closure we want, and sometimes the people we love make choices we can't understand. But what matters most is how we rise after the fall, how we build a future with or without them. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Remember, no matter how hard the storm, you have the power to keep moving forward.